A rusted tractor. Hidden for 13 years beneath vines and blackberry thorns. The seat lifts, hands trembling. Inside, a metal box wrapped in oilcloth that crumbles at the touch. $8,400. Rubber bands disintegrate. $20 bills scatter across a barn floor where dust motes dance in fractured sunlight. A woman who walked out of prison 3 days ago. $72 to her name, no family, no home. Just 47 acres of failure she bought for $100 and a prayer. The money could save her, but beneath the cash. A leather journal, 247 letters. 18 years of words a father never sent his children. A dying man's last request to a stranger who doesn't exist yet. Outside, the fields wait, winter coming. The well dry, the roof leaking. Inside, a choice. Keep the money, survive, or return it, and risk losing everything. Her fingers close around the first letter. The decision will change 4 lives starting with her own. I'm standing in a barn that smells like dust and decades. 4 strangers sit across from me. A table made from plywood and sawhorses between us. Their faces. I've memorized them from photographs I found 3 days ago. Photographs of a family that fell apart. My hands shake as I lift the metal box. Heavier than it looks inside. $8,400 in rubber-banded stacks. Money I could have kept. Money that would have saved me. The woman in the black blazer. Patricia Williams, 46. Looks like she hasn't slept in weeks. Reaches for the box like it might disappear if she moves too fast. Her fingers brush the bills. She flinches, her voice cracks on 2 words. This is Dad's, I nod. Can't speak yet. Throat too tight. The big man, David, her brother, leans forward, crying, not trying to hide it. His words come out broken. Where did you find this? I point through the barn door, toward the field where a John Deere tractor sits. Not gleaming, not yet, but visible. My voice finally works, hidden in a compartment. Under the seat, but that's not everything. I reach into my backpack. Pull out the leather journal. Pages yellow. Binding cracked, hold it out to Patricia. The words tumble. There are 247 letters inside. Your father wrote them over 18 years. 1 for you each of your birthdays. 1 for every Christmas. He wrote to all 4 of you. Jessica, the youngest daughter, makes a sound like she's been punched. Her whisper barely audible. He wrote to us? I nod again. He never sent them. I don't know why, but he wanted you to know. He wanted you to understand, Stephen. Youngest at 33. Hasn't said anything yet. Just stares at the journal like it's a bomb. Jaw tight. Hands, fists on the table. Have you ever found something that could change your life? But it wasn't yours to keep, because 3 days ago I was homeless, starving, and that $8,400 would have saved me. But what nobody in that barn knew, what I couldn't tell them yet, was that keeping it would have destroyed me. The iron gates of Riverside Reform School close behind me sound like God's fists slamming shut. I don't look back. Looking back means remembering 3 years I'll never get back. The sun is too bright. After 3 years of fluorescent lights and concrete walls, real sunlight feels like an assault. I squint, stand on the sidewalk, canvas duffel bag in one hand, $72 in the other. $72. That's what 3 years of my life is worth. That's what the state of Oregon gives me. For time served, for good behavior, for not fighting back when every cell in my body wanted to scream. I'm 23 years old. Look 30. Prison ages you, not in mirrors, in your eyes, in how you hold your shoulders, in how you scan every room for exits before you think about sitting down. My name is Linda Brown. This is my story. 3 years earlier I was different. 20 years old, working 2 jobs, saving money for community college, wanted to be a veterinary technician. Always loved animals. They don't judge. They don't lie. They don't set you up to take the fall. But that night, the night that destroyed everything, I walked into a party with people I thought were friends. Didn't know they were setting me up. Didn't know that while I sat in the living room drinking soda, they were in the back room breaking into a safe. Didn't know the police were already coming. Tipped off by someone who wanted me to take the blame. When the officers burst through that door, I was the only one left. Everyone else had slipped out the back. I stood there, confused, surrounded by evidence carefully planted. My fingerprints on things I'd never touched, because they'd asked me to hold items earlier. Pass me that cup. Can you touch this? They'd planned it all. The trial was a blur. 2 witnesses testified against me. My public defender overworked, exhausted. The judge looked at me like I was already guilty. When the verdict came down, 3 years. But losing my freedom wasn't the worst part. The worst part was losing Grandma Dorothy, only family I had left. My parents died in a car accident when I was 15. Dorothy took me in. No hesitation, 71 years old, living on fixed income, barely able to take care of herself. But she made room for me in her tiny house, and in her enormous heart, she taught me how to cook her famous apple pie, how to mend clothes, how to work hard, that your character is what you do when nobody's watching. Every night before bed she'd hold my hands. Do the right thing, Linda girl. Even when nobody's watching, because someone's always watching, even if it's just you. When I was arrested, she was the only one who came to visit. Every week that first year, then every other week when her health started failing, she sat on the other side of that glass partition, hands pressed against it like she could reach through, her words every single time. I know you didn't do this. I know who you are, Linda, and I'll be here when you get out. We'll start over together 8 months before my release. The prison chaplain called me into his office, asked me to sit down. I knew before he opened his mouth. Grandma Dorothy was gone, passed away in her sleep, at the care facility where she'd been moved. When she could no longer live alone, I hadn't even known she was in a care facility. She hadn't told me, didn't want me to worry. She'd protected me even at the end. Even when she was the one who needed protection, I applied for compassionate leave. To attend her funeral, they denied it. Said I was a flight risk, me, the girl who'd never gotten a speeding ticket. Before that night, everything went wrong. I didn't get to say goodbye. Didn't get to tell her I'll tell her one more time. Didn't get to keep my promise. That we'd start over together. The county sold her house to pay medical debts. Her belongings liquidated. The few photographs I had of her, the quilt she'd made me. Her recipe cards with handwriting I could recognize anywhere, all gone. So I stand outside those prison gates with $72 and a duffel bag containing 2 changes of clothes, a toothbrush, and a heart full of grief. No home, no job prospects with a record, no references, no family. Completely alone. That first night of freedom, I stay at a homeless shelter in Portland, lie on a thin mattress, stare at a cracked ceiling, listen to dozens of other broken people trying to sleep. The air smells like industrial cleaner, and despair. I don't sleep at all, just keep thinking about Dorothy, about her voice, about the way she'd stroke my hair when I was sad, about all the things I'll never hear her say again. Part of me wants to give up. Let the anger and grief swallow me whole. But then I hear her voice in my head. Clear as a bell, Linda girl. Life is gonna knock you down, that's guaranteed. But what matters is whether you get back up. And you've always been a get back up kind of girl, so I get up. The next morning I go to the public library. Only place I can think of with free computers and no judgment. I spend hours searching. For any opportunity that might give me a fresh start. I look for jobs. Nobody wants to hire someone with my record. I look for apartments. Nobody wants to rent to someone with no income, no references. I'm about to give up when I see it. An online auction for a small farm in rural Washington, about 200 miles north. The starting bid is $100. I click on the listing. Expect it to be some kind of scam. But it's real. The description says the property is 47 acres. In a town called Cedarbrook. Population 890. There's a photo of an old farmhouse. Looks like it might collapse in a strong wind. A sagging barn, overgrown fields, rusted farm equipment, slowly being reclaimed by nature. The description is brutally honest. Property sold as is. Significant repairs needed. No utilities currently connected. Buyer responsible for all back taxes and fees. Totaling $850. My heart starts beating faster. The current bid is still $100. The auction has been running for 3 days. Nobody else has bid. Nobody wants this place. But I see something different. When I look at those photos, I don't see a disaster. I see possibility. I see a place far enough away that nobody would know my name or my story. I see land that could grow things. If someone was willing to work hard enough, I see a chance. I have $72. The bid is $100. I watch that auction for 3 more days. Come to the library the moment it opens. Stay until it closes. Can't get the farm out of my mind. Dream about it at night. About standing in those overgrown fields. About fixing up that old house. About building something from nothing. On the final day of the auction. With just 10 minutes left, the bid is still at $100. I have a choice. I could keep my $72. Use it to survive for a few more weeks. Find some minimum wage job. Eventually rent a room in a boarding house. Scrape by indefinitely. In a life going nowhere. Or I could bet everything on a dream. I type in my bid, $100. My finger hovers over the confirm button. Heart hammering. This is insane. Absolutely insane. I've never seen this property in person. Don't know anything about farming. Will have nothing left if I do this. No safety net. No backup plan. I close my eyes. See Dorothy's face. When she told me we'd start over together, I click confirm. The next 60 seconds are the longest of my life. The page refreshes. Congratulations. You are the winning bidder. I've done it. I own a farm, then I read the fine print. Heart sinks. Back taxes and fees total $850. Must pay within 30 days. Or I lose the property. I have $72 already in over my head. The next 27 days are the hardest of my life. And I've already survived some very hard things. I work every job I can find, day labor at construction sites. Men twice my size look at me with skepticism until they see how hard I can work. $25 a day. Cash night shifts unloading trucks at the docks. Back-breaking. Dangerous. $30 a shift washing dishes at a diner. Pays cash under the table. $20 plus whatever's in the tip jar. Usually $3. Cleaning offices after midnight. $22 for 4 hours. Breathing bleach fumes. Scrubbing toilets. I sleep at the shelter when I can get a bed. $5 a night when there's space. When there isn't, I sleep on park benches. In bus stations. Anywhere the police won't move me along. I eat at soup kitchens. Save every single penny. The other people at the shelter think I've lost my mind. Girl, you buying a farm. You don't know nothing about farming. They're right. I don't know anything about farming. But I know about surviving. About refusing to quit. About getting back up when life knocks you down. And I figure that's at least a start. Day 15. I have $412. Not enough. Not nearly enough. I make a decision. The hardest one yet. I go to a pawn shop. Pull out the only thing I have left of Dorothy. Her gold necklace. The one she gave me on my 18th birthday. The one I smuggled into prison, hidden in the lining of my jacket. The one the guards never found. The pawn shop owner barely looks at it. $90. I want to argue. Tell him it's worth more. Tell him what it means. But I can't speak. Just nod. Take the money, walk outside. Cry for the first time in weeks, because now I really have nothing. Day 27. I count my money. $910. Enough. Barely. But enough. I go to the county office. Pay the back taxes. $850. Sign a mountain of paperwork. Handshaking. A clerk with tired eyes hands me a deed. I own 47 acres of land. In Cedarbrook, Washington. The clerk looks at me. Something between pity and curiosity. Her voice matter of fact. You know that property's been abandoned almost 13 years. Right. Old Robert Williams died back in 2010. His kids wanted nothing to do with it. It's been sitting empty ever since. I nod. No, that's why I could afford it. I take a Greyhound bus north. Watch cities give way to suburbs. Then to small towns. Then to forests, mountains, open spaces. The air changes as we drive. Becoming cleaner. Sharper. Carrying the scent of pine trees and possibility. When I finally arrive in Cedarbrook. It's late afternoon. The town is exactly what I expected. One stoplight. A general store. A diner with a faded sign. A gas station that looks like it hasn't been updated since 1975. I walk into the diner, because I skipped lunch, and my stomach is growling. A woman behind the counter looks up. Mid-60s. Silver hair pulled back. Sharp eyes. Her name tag says Margaret. She watches me slide onto a stool, taking in my worn clothes, my duffel bag. The exhaustion written all over my face. Her voice is kind. What can I get you? Honey, I order the cheapest thing on the menu. Bowl of soup, piece of bread, while I eat. I ask for directions to the old Williams place. Margaret's eyebrows rise. The Williams farm. That's where you're headed. I nod. She gives me a long look. Then something in her face softens. Girl, you're either very brave or very crazy. Maybe both. She refills my water glass. It's about 5 miles down Ridge Road. Take the second left after the old sawmill. Then follow the dirt road till it ends. You can't miss it. Only place around here that looks like it's been through a war. She pauses. Robert Williams was a good man. Loved that land more than just about anything. Shame what happened after he passed. I thank her. Pay for my soup. $60 left as I'm leaving. She calls out. Hey, I turn back. Her voice gentle. If you need anything, you come back here. I don't turn away people who are willing to work for what they want. And you look like a worker. I don't know how to respond. Just nod. Walk out into the late afternoon sun. I walk those 5 miles as the sun begins its descent. The sky turns from blue to gold, pink, orange, deepening into shades I've never seen before in the city. Buildings and smog blocked out the sky. Here it stretches forever with each step. My heart beats faster. What am I doing? What have I gotten myself into? I don't know anything about farms, or land, or any of this. I'm a girl from the city, who spent 3 years locked up, for something she didn't do. What makes me think I can turn an abandoned property into anything worth having? But I keep walking. Because turning back isn't an option. It never has been. When I finally see the property, my heart drops. The photos hadn't lied. But they'd been kind. The farmhouse is worse in person. Half the porch has rotted through. Windows broken or missing entirely. Paint peeled, boards warped. Vines crawling up the walls. The barn is listing to one side, at an angle that seems to defy physics. Looks like it's held up by nothing but stubbornness. And the fields. The fields I'd imagined growing things. They're a jungle of weeds, blackberry bushes, small trees that have taken root, scattered throughout, pieces of farm equipment, so rusted and overgrown. I can barely identify what they once were. I drop my duffel bag on what remains of the front porch. Sit down hard, the boards groans. I sit there for a long moment, feeling the weight of every decision that led me to this place. I'm alone. I'm broke. I'm on a property that will take years to restore. No electricity, no running water. And winter is coming. For the first time since walking out of Riverside, I feel tears. What am I doing here? Who do I think I am? I'm not a farmer, not a carpenter, just a girl who got destroyed by life. Too stubborn to admit defeat, the tears come. Hot, fast, streaming down my face. I cry for Dorothy, who should be here with me. I cry for the 3 years I lost. I cry for the girl I used to be. The one with dreams about veterinary school, a normal life. I cry until I have nothing left. And then I hear Dorothy's voice in my head again. 10 minutes. Linda girl, you get 10 minutes to feel sorry for yourself. Then you get up, and you get to work. I wipe my eyes, check my spots. 10 minutes have passed. Despite its alarming tilt, is more intact inside. The smell hits me first. Old hay, dust, the ghost of animals long gone. But the roof seems solid. In most places, I find an old horse stall, cleaner than the rest. Clear out debris. Spread my sleeping bag. Lie down as darkness falls. I listen to mice scurrying, wind whistling through gaps, owls hooting, coyotes calling in the distance, the complete absence of traffic, sirens, human noise. It should be terrifying. But somehow it isn't. For the first time in 3 years, I feel something other than grief and anger. I feel hope. The sun wakes me, streaming through gaps in the barn walls, golden, warm. Nothing like the fluorescent lights that woke me every morning. I step outside. Into the morning, the property looks different in daylight, still overwhelming, still damaged, still requiring more work than one person could possibly do. But the morning sun softens everything, painting the overgrown fields. In shades of green and gold, dew sparkles on the weeds, birds singing. So many birds, the air smells like earth, growing things. Possibility. I spend the first 2 days taking inventory. The house needs months of work, roof leaks, plumbing shot, electrical wiring a fire hazard. But the foundation is solid, walls are straight, good bones. As people say, the barn is worse in some ways, better in others. The main section is sound enough. The fields are overwhelming. 13 years of neglect, turned cultivated land into wilderness. And then there's the farm equipment, scattered around, most beyond saving day 3 behind the barn, almost completely hidden by blackberry bushes and vines. I see something, an old tractor, John Deere, probably from the 60s based on its shape. Green paint faded, tires flat, cracked with age, but there's something about it that calls to me. Maybe it's how it sits there, patient, forgotten, waiting for someone to remember it exists. Maybe it's how it reminds me of myself. I decide to clear away the brush, partly because I need to do something productive, partly because I'm curious. I work all afternoon, pulling away vines, cutting back saplings, sweeping away years of accumulated leaves. By sunset, I've cleared enough to really see. The tractor is in rough shape, but not as bad as I feared. The body is solid, the engine. When I lift the hood, intact. It would need work, a lot of work, but it isn't beyond saving. I decide to try something, see if it can even turn over. I climb into the seat, dust everywhere. The key is still in the ignition, rusted in place. I try to turn it, won't budge. I find a screwdriver in the barn. Use it for leverage. The key finally moves. I press what I think is the clutch. Turn the key again. Nothing, of course nothing. This thing hasn't run in 13 years. I try the starter anyway. Just to see, click, click. Nothing, the battery is dead. Probably has been for a decade, but I'm curious now. Want to see what's preventing the engine from turning. I need better access. The seat is in the way. I try to adjust it. Won't move. Rusted, I work at it. Jiggling, pulling. Finally something gives, the seat lifts. And I realize, it's not just a seat, it's a lid. A lid covering a storage compartment. Built into the body of the tractor. I'd never known tractors could have hidden compartments. Inside, wrapped in what had once been oilcloth, now mostly disintegrated, is a metal box. My hands shake as I lift it out. The box is about the size of a large shoebox, made of tin, rusted around the edges. But still intact, it has weight. Something substantial inside. No lock, just a simple latch, rusted shut. I carry it carefully into the barn. Last light of day fading, I use the screwdriver, work the latch free. Prying carefully, the latch pops open. I lift the lid, and I have to sit down, because my legs won't hold me. Inside the box, bundles of cash, old bills wrapped in rubber bands, that crumble at my touch. Beneath the money, papers, documents, photographs, and beneath all of that, a leather journal. Pages yellowed, but still readable. I count the money, then count it again. Then a third time, because there has to be some mistake. $8,400. I sit in that barn, as darkness falls around me, holding more money than I've ever seen in my life, trying to understand what just happened. Who hid this? Why? And what am I supposed to do about it? I open the journal with trembling hands. The handwriting is shaky, but legible. The first entry is dated April 15th, 1998. My name is Robert Williams, and if you're reading this, I'm probably dead. I read through the night. Can't stop. Can't put the journal down, even when my eyes burn. And my back aches. Robert Williams' handwriting tells me everything. His whole life. Compressed into ink and paper. Honesty so raw. It feels like looking at someone's soul. He writes about his wife, Dorothy. About watching her forget him. Piece by piece, March 12th, 2006. Dorothy asked for her mother today. Her mother's been dead 20 years. I didn't correct her. Just held her hand. Said her mother would be here soon. She smiled at me like I was a kind stranger. I am a stranger to her now. The cruelest thing about this disease is that she's gone. But her body remains. He writes about the money, about how he saved it, dollar by dollar, hiding it away. Because he didn't trust banks, not after the savings and loan crisis. Wiped out his parents' life savings in the 80s. This money is everything I have left. After Dorothy's care, $8,400, not much. But it's meant for my children. For Patricia and David and Jessica and Stephen. So they know I was thinking of them. So they know I didn't forget them. Even when they stopped coming around. He writes about his children. About how proud he is. Even though he was never good at saying it. Patricia called today. She got promoted to senior manager. I wanted to tell her I was proud. Instead, I asked about the weather in Chicago. Why am I like this? Why can't I say the words that matter? David sent photos of his kids, my grandchildren. Beautiful children I barely know. He invited me to visit California. I said I'd think about it, but we both know I won't go. This land holds me like a chain. Jessica published an article in some big magazine. I tried to read it, but the words were too complicated for an old farmer. I'm proud anyway. She's smart like her mother. I should tell her that Stephen is the quiet one. Like me, I worry about him most because I see myself in him. All that emotion locked up inside. No way to let it out. I hope he finds someone he can open up to. I hope he doesn't end up alone, like I did. The entries get shorter. As Robert gets sicker, the handwriting shakier, the words more desperate, and then I find them. Tucked between the pages of the journal, 247 letters. Each one in a separate envelope. Each one addressed to one of his 4 children. Each one marked with a date, birthdays, Christmases, spanning 18 years. None of them sent. I open one at random, addressed to Patricia. Christmas 2003, my dearest Patricia. It's Christmas and you're in Chicago with your new husband, your new life. I'm happy for you, truly, but the house feels empty without you. Your mother asked about you today. She doesn't remember your name anymore. But she remembers she has a daughter, she said. My girl with the dark hair. I showed her your photo. She smiled. I want you to know I'm proud of you. I know I pushed you too hard. About staying on the farm. I was wrong. Your path is your own, and it's a good path. You're building something meaningful in that city. Don't ever doubt that. I'm sorry I couldn't say this to your face. I'm sorry I'm better with written words than spoken ones. Love always. Dad, the letter was never sent. Sat in this box for 20 years. While Patricia thought her father was disappointed in her, I open another, to Stephen. His 25th birthday, Stephen. You're 25 today. A man now. Though you'll always be my youngest boy. I see so much of myself in you. The way you go quiet when you're hurting. The way you work with your hands. Instead of talking about your feelings, the way you look at this land. Like it's both a prison and a home. I want to tell you something. I should have said years ago. You don't have to stay here. You don't have to follow in my footsteps. I know I made you feel like farming was the only honorable path. But that was my insecurity talking, my fear. That everything I'd built would die with me. Go to Texas, take that job, build your own life, and know that I'll be proud of you, no matter what you choose. Your father unsent. All of them unsent. I spread the letters out. On the barn floor around me, 247 attempts at connection. 247 times Robert Williams tried to reach across the distance and tell his children he loved them. 247 failures to follow through, the last entry in the journal. Dated June 11th, 2010, 3 days before Robert died. The handwriting almost illegible. June 11th, 2010. I'm running out of time. I can feel it in my chest. I need to tell the kids about the money. I need to give them the letters, but they don't visit anymore, and I don't blame them. I wasn't the father they needed. If someone finds this, if you're reading these words, please find my children, Patricia Williams, Chicago, Illinois, David Williams, San Diego, California, Jessica Williams, New York, Stephen Williams, Austin, Texas. Tell them I'm sorry. Tell them I love them, more than this land, more than anything. I just didn't know how to show it. Tell them the money is theirs. Tell them the letters are theirs. If you can do this, if you can bring my family this small piece of peace, then maybe my life wasn't entirely wasted. Robert Williams. I close the journal. As the first gray light of dawn creeps through the barn walls, haven't slept all night, eyes burning, body exhausted, but my mind is racing. The next day, I find something else. In my storage unit back in Portland, the one thing they let me keep. When they liquidated Dorothy's belongings, a small metal box, painted blue, with roses on the lid, Dorothy's recipe box inside, 52 recipe cards, one for each week of the year, each in her handwriting. But when I flip the first one over, there's more than just a recipe. Week 1, chicken soup, on the back. In Dorothy's careful script, Linda girl, if you're reading this, I'm gone, but I wanted you to have something to remember me by. These recipes, they're more than just food, they're love, made tangible. Cook one each week and know I'm with you. Love, Grandma. I sit on the barn floor, holding the recipe card, and I cry. Agon, but this time. Not from grief, from something else, because I realize I'm not the only one who had words I needed to hear. From someone who's gone. Robert's children are out there, thinking their father didn't love them, thinking he was disappointed, thinking they weren't enough. Just like I spent 8 months, thinking I'd never get to tell Dorothy how much she meant to me. And I have a choice to make. $8,400 could change my life. The thought follows me. For the next 3 days, day 1, I count the money again, make lists, calculate with 8,000. I could hire someone to fix the well, buy a used generator, winterize the house before the cold comes. I could survive day 2. I'm hungrier. Run out of the crackers I bought in town, walk the 5 miles back, buy the absolute cheapest food I can find, with the last $17 from my 60 a loaf of bread, peanut butter, more crackers. I ration it like I'm preparing for the apocalypse. That night it rains. The barn roof leaks in 3 places. I move my sleeping bag twice, trying to stay dry. I lie there shivering, listening to water drip onto the dirt floor, thinking about how $8,000 could fix this, could fix everything. Day 3, I hit bottom. I open the metal box, just stare at the money. Pick up one of the bundles. The rubber band crumbles. $20 bills scatter across my lap. Nobody would know. Robert is dead. His children don't know this money exists. I bought this property legally. Anything I found on it is technically mine. Nobody would know, except me, and Dorothy would know. Wherever she is, I can hear her voice, clearly, as if she speaks to me, in that cold barn. Linda girl, your character is what you do. When nobody's watching, nobody's watching. So who are you going to be? I pull out my notebook, the one I've been carrying since I left Riverside. I write a letter to Dorothy, dear grandma. I found something today. Money. More than I've ever seen. It could save me. Fix this place. Give me a real chance. But it's not mine. It belongs to a family who doesn't know their father loved them. Just like I didn't get to tell you how much you meant to me. I'm going to return it. Even if it means I fail here. Even if it means I end up with nothing. Because you taught me that some things matter more than survival. Integrity is one of them. I'm going to make you proud. I'm going to do the right thing. I love you. I miss you, Linda. I fold the letter, put it in the recipe box, with Dorothy's cards. Then I put the money back, in the metal box. Put the box back, in the tractor's compartment. And I make my decision. I will find Robert Williams' children. I will return the money. And the letters, even if it means losing my only chance at making this farm work, even if it means failing. And ending up with nothing, because if build something on a foundation of stolen money, I will never be able to look at myself without seeing exactly what those people who sent me to prison accused me of being. I would rather fail honestly than succeed as a thief. Your character is what you do when nobody's watching. And right now, I'm the only one watching. The problem is I have no idea how to find them. The journal has first names, general locations, Chicago, San Diego, New York, Austin, but no phone numbers, no addresses, nothing concrete. Patricia in Chicago could be any one of 10,000 people. Same with David in San Diego, Jessica in New York, Stephen in Austin. Even more impossible. I walk into town the next morning. Legs ache from the 10-mile round trip yesterday. But I can't afford gas even if I had a car. The library in Cedarbrook is tiny. One room with shelves of worn books, 2 ancient computers. The librarian is a woman in her 60s, silver hair, reading glasses on a chain. Her name tag says Melissa Thompson. I spend hours searching online, trying every combination of names and cities. Nothing works. Facebook shows me hundreds of Patricia Williams. LinkedIn shows me dozens of David Williams. None of them look right. None of them have any connection to a farm in Washington. I'm about to give up when Melissa comes over, her voice gentle. You've been at that computer all day, honey. Is there something I can help you find? I hesitate. 3 years taught me not to trust people easily. Betrayal and disappointment drilled that lesson deep. But there's something kind in her eyes. Something that reminds me of Dorothy. I explain what I'm trying to do. Leave out the part about the money. Say I found some personal items belonging to Robert Williams. Want to return them to his family. Her face lights up. Oh, I knew Robert. Lovely man. Terrible what happened to him and Dorothy. She thinks for a moment. You know? His daughter Patricia used to work at the bank here before she moved away. I bet Doris over at the county records office would have forwarding addresses. From when the property was sold, they would have had to notify all the heirs. 2 weeks. That's how long it takes upon calls, navigating bureaucracy, dead ends and transfers and hold music. But Melissa makes calls onto my behalf, vouches for me to people suspicious of a stranger asking questions, refuses to give up even when I'm ready to quit. During those 2 weeks I survive on what's left. $43 after buying food. I cook Dorothy's recipes, 1 each week like she asked. Week 1. Chicken soup. I buy the cheapest chicken I can find, carrots, celery, onion. Follow her handwriting. Simmer for 2 hours. Add salt, pepper. Love the smell fills the barn. Reminds me of her kitchen, of safety of home. I eat the soup for 3 days, every meal, and it does heal more than hunger. Week 2. Beef stew. I can't afford beef. Use canned beans instead. Still follow the rest. Spiced potatoes. More carrots. Her secret ingredient. A splash of coffee for depth on the back of the card. Linda girl. Sometimes you have to substitute. Make do with what you have. That's not settling. That's surviving. Finally. After 14 days, Melissa gets a phone number. Patricia Williams, Chicago. I must have picked up the phone 20 times before I actually dial. Heart racing. Don't know what to say. How to explain when she answers. Her voice is professional, busy. The voice of someone who doesn't have time for unexpected calls from strangers. Crisp and efficient. This is Patricia Williams. I stumble through my introduction. Mouth dry, hands shaking, the words tumble out wrong. Miss Williams. My name is Linda Brown. You don't know me. I bought your father's old farm, the one in Cedarbrook, and I found something. Something I think you and your family should have. There's a long silence on the other end. Then her voice changes, becomes softer, younger somehow. You're at Dad's farm. A pause. Her disbelief clear. Someone bought it. I rushed the words. Yes, ma'am. about 4 weeks ago, and I was clearing out an old tractor and I found some things that belonged to your father. Personal things. Important things. Her question careful. What kind of things? I take a breath. The truth comes out. Money. Your dad hid $8,400 in the tractor, and there's a journal he wrote about all of you, about how much he loved you, and there are letters. 247 letters. He wrote them over 18 years. To you and your brothers and sister. He never sent them. But I think he wanted you to have them. I hear her sharp intake of breath. Her voice barely a whisper. How much money? I repeat it. $8,400. And the letters. He wrote them to you and your siblings. He never sent them. But I think he wanted you to know. The silence that follows is so long. I think she's hung up. Then I hear her crying. Soft sobs she's trying to muffle. Her words break. He left us money. After everything. After all the bills and the debt. He managed to save money. Her voice cracks completely. We thought there was nothing left. We thought he'd spent everything on Mom's care. On his treatments. We thought the farm was just this burden he'd saddled us with. We sold it for barely anything. Because we thought, she can't finish. I say quietly, I know. But he did think of you, all of you. Every day for 18 years. And I think he'd want you to know that. We talk for an hour. Patricia tells me about her childhood on the farm. About early mornings helping her dad with chores. About fighting with him as a teenager because she wanted to leave. See the world, about the guilt she carries. For not visiting more before he died. She gives me phone numbers. For David, Jessica, Stephen. Over the next 3 days I call each of them. David in San Diego. He answers on the second ring. Voice cautious. Hello, I explain who I am. What? He cries like a child. His voice thick. Dad was proud of me. He never said it, not once. I spent my whole life thinking I disappointed him. Because I didn't stay on the farm. I read him one of the letters, the one from his 30th birthday, about how Robert understood. That David chose a different path. And how that was okay. David's sob audible. I needed to hear that 30 years ago. But hearing it now, it still matters. God, it still matters so much. Jessica in New York. She's angry at first, sharp and defensive. If this is some kind of scam, I swear to God. But when I read her one of the letters, the one from her 21st birthday, about how she feels everything deeply, don't ever lose that. Her anger crumbles into grief, her sob audible. He called me his smart girl. I never knew. She tells me about the last times she saw her father. How they'd argued. About her moving to New York. About her career choice. About everything. How she'd left angry. Didn't call for 6 months by the time she did. He was already sick, her voice broken. I thought he died disappointed in me. I've carried that for 13 years. Stephen in Austin, he's the hardest, his voice flat. Suspicious, why would you do this? What do you want? I don't have a good answer. Accept the truth. Because it's the right thing to do. A long silence. Then his question cuts. Nobody does the right thing anymore. Not without a reason. I pause. Then offer quietly. Then maybe I'm nobody. But your father asked. And I'm going to honor that. He doesn't respond right away finally. When can we come see it? I give him the address. His last words before hanging up. I'll believe it when I see it. 2 weeks later. All 4 of them come to the farm. It's the first time they've been back. Since their father's funeral, the first time they've been together. In the same place. In over 8 years. I watch from inside the barn. As they pull up in their rental cars. Watch them stand in the overgrown driveway. Looking at the place that defined their early lives. Now falling apart. Being reclaimed by nature. Patricia is tall. Professional looking. Wearing a business suit that seems out of place in the rural setting. 46 years old. Dark hair pulled back in a severe bun. She stands very straight, like she's bracing herself. David is heavy-set. Kind eyes, nervous laugh. 44. He keeps wiping his palms on his jeans. Jessica has her father's face. I can tell from the photos in the journal. 41. She's crying before she even gets out of the car. And Stephen, youngest at 33, just stands there, silent, hands in his pockets, watching everything. With an expression I can't read, I meet them at the barn. With the metal box, the journal, and the letters I've organized by recipient. My hands shake as I hand Patricia the box. The words come out rushed. This was hidden in the John Deere. In a compartment under the seat. I counted it 3 times. It's $8,400. Patricia opens the box with trembling hands. All 4 of them stare at the money, like it's something from another world. Then Jessica picks up the journal and starts reading within minutes. All of them are crying. They pass the journal around, reading passages out loud to each other. David's voice breaks as he reads, "Listen to this. Davis called today. He got the promotion at his company. I'm so proud of him, even though I never told him that enough. I was always pushing him to take over the farm, never asked what he wanted. I see that now. He's building something good in California, something that makes him happy. That should have been enough for me." He wipes his eyes. I never knew he felt that way. He was always so disappointed in me for leaving. Patricia finds another entry, her voice shaking. "Here's one about me. Patricia is managing 50 people now. 50. My daughter, who used to be scared to speak in front of her class. She's running meetings with executives, making decisions that affect hundreds of lives. I wish I could tell her I'm proud. They spend hours there, reading the journal, sharing memories, laughing and crying together, slowly rebuilding connections that had frayed over years of distance and unspoken hurts. I try to give them privacy, walk out to look at the tractor, to give them space for their grief and their healing. But Stephen finds me. I'm sitting on the porch steps. When he walks over, he doesn't say anything at first, just stands there, hands in his pockets, looking at the overgrown fields. His question comes out, careful. "Can I ask you something?" I stop what I'm doing, turn to face him. "Sure." He crosses his arms. "Why did you really do this? Find us. Give back the money." I don't understand the question at first, because it wasn't mine. It belonged to your family. He shakes his head slowly. Nobody does that. Nobody finds $8,000 and just gives it away. Not when they're living in a barn, eating canned beans. His eyes are hard now, searching my face for the lie he's sure is there. I've seen too many people take advantage of situations like this. People who pretend to be good until they get what they want. So I'm asking you straight, what's your angle? What do you want from us? The accusation hits me like a punch. For a moment, I'm back in that courtroom, listening to people who didn't know me decide who I was, being judged for something I didn't do. I could get angry, could tell him to leave. Instead, I tell him the truth. I tell him about the reform school, about being set up by people I trusted, about 3 years in a place that tried to break me, about Dorothy dying while I was locked away, unable to say goodbye, about walking out of those gates with $72 and nothing else, about finding this farm, about the hope I felt when I saw those overgrown fields, about sleeping in this barn and crying myself to sleep that first night. And I tell him about finding the money, my voice rough when I finish. If I kept it, Stephen, I would become exactly what they accused me of being, a thief. I couldn't do that, not to myself, not to my grandmother's memory. My voice cracks. She raised me to do the right thing, even when nobody's watching. If I betrayed that, I'd lose the only thing I have left of her. Stephen is silent for a long moment. Then something in his face shifts. The hardness fades. What replaces it looks almost like shame. "I'm sorry. I had to know." He turns and walks back to his siblings, without another word. But something has changed between us. I can feel it. When the 4 siblings gather together again that evening, they have the money counted, separated into 4 piles, $2,100 each. Patricia picks up one of the piles, holds it out to me, her voice firm. "This is yours." I start to protest, but she cuts me off. "Linda, you could have kept all of this. You bought this property legally. Anything you found on it was legally yours. You didn't have to find us. You didn't have to give us our father's journal, which honestly means more than the money." She presses the bills into my hands. "You did the right thing, when it would have been so easy to do the wrong thing. Dad would have respected that. Dad would have liked you." I look at Stephen. He nods once, a small gesture. But it means everything. I take the money, $2,100. More money than I've ever held in my life. My whisper barely audible. "Thank you." That night they stay. All 4 of them. We clear out a room in the house, the only one with a roof that doesn't leak. They bring in air mattresses from their cars. We sit around a camping lantern, and they take turns reading the letters their father wrote. Patricia reads first. A letter from Christmas 2005. Her hands shake as she unfolds it. "My dearest Patricia, I'm writing this by the fire on Christmas Eve. You're not here. You haven't been here for Christmas in 3 years. But I understand. You have your own life now, your own traditions. I just wanted you to know that I still set a place for you at the table, just in case. I always will." Her hands tremble As she folds the letter carefully, sets it aside, David reads next. From his 30th birthday, his voice steady until the end. Son, you're 30 today. The same age I was. When I took over this farm from my father, I spent years thinking you'd do the same. But you chose a different path, and I'm learning to understand that was the right choice. You're happier in California than you ever would have been here. That's all I ever wanted for you. Even if I had a terrible way of showing it, Jessica can't read hers out loud. She tries, but her voice breaks after the first line. Stephen takes the letter gently from her hands, reads it for her, his voice careful. Jessica, my sensitive girl, you feel everything so deeply. I see so much of your mother in you, the way you cry at sad movies, the way you bring home stray animals, the way you love with your whole heart, even when it hurts. Don't ever lose that. The world needs people who feel things the way you do. Then it's Stephen's turn. He picks up a letter. Dated his 25th birthday. His hands are steady. But his voice isn't. He reads slowly. Stephen, you're the quiet one. Like me. That's what worries me most. I see how you keep everything locked inside. All that hurt and anger and fear, with no way to let it out. I was the same way. I'm still the same way. And it's cost me everything that mattered. Don't be like me. Son, find someone you can talk to. Find someone who can reach past all those walls. Promise me you won't end up alone. The way I did, Stephen sets the letter down carefully. He doesn't cry, but his jaw is clenched. So tight I can see the muscle jumping. They read letters until midnight. 247 attempts at connection. 247 times their father tried to bridge the distance between them. 247 times he failed to press send. But sitting there in that half-ruined house, watching these four broken people put themselves back together. Through their father's words, I realized something. Robert Williams hadn't failed. He'd just been waiting for the right messenger. Around 2 in the morning, Stephen can't sleep. He keeps thinking about the letters, about his father's voice. Trapped in ink and paper, he goes back to his father's bedroom. Starts going through the closet more carefully, looking for anything else Robert might have left behind. That's when he finds it, high behind a stack of old farming magazines. A VHS tape, labeled in his father's handwriting. For my children. Play this after I'm gone. Stephen's hands shake as he carries it downstairs. He finds me still awake, sitting on the porch. Can't sleep either, his voice rough. We don't have a VCR. Do you know anyone who might? I think for a moment. Timothy Clark, the farmer next door. He mentioned keeping one. To watch old westerns, we drive to Timothy's house at 1 in the morning. He doesn't complain, just sets up the player. Leaves us alone in his living room. Stephen presses play. Robert appears on screen. Sitting in the farmhouse kitchen, the camera is shaky. He probably set it up himself. On a tripod, his face is gaunt. Sick, this was filmed in his final days. Robert's voice comes through the old speakers. Rough. Tired, but unmistakably him. Patricia. David. Jessica. Stephen. If you're watching this, I'm gone. And I need to say some things I never said when I was alive. Stephen grabs my hand. Squeezes so hard it hurts. I squeeze back. Robert continues. I wasn't a good father. I know that. I loved this land more than I loved being present for you. I missed your games, your recitals, your graduations, because something needed fixing on the farm. I thought that was what being a man meant. Providing. Working. I was wrong. His voice breaks. He looks down at his hands. Patricia, you're the strongest person I know. You got that from your mother. I'm so proud of the life you built. David, you have a kindness I never had. You're a better father than I ever was. Jessica, you see beauty in everything. Don't ever let the world make you cynical. And Stephen, he looks directly at the camera. Directly at his son. Stephen, you're so much like me it scares me. You keep everything inside. You think feeling things makes you weak. It doesn't. It makes you human. Please don't make my mistakes. Let people in, let yourself be loved. Robert wipes his eyes. I'm not asking you to forgive me. I'm just asking you to know that I loved you every single day. I just didn't know how to show it. And that's my failure. Not yours. You were enough. You were always enough. I just couldn't see past my own stubbornness to tell you. The video continues for another 5 minutes. Robert talks about memories, about his Dorothy, about regrets, about hope that someday his children would understand. The last thing he says, if someone brings you this tape, thank them. Thank them for caring enough. About a family they don't know, to do the right thing. That kind of person is rare. Hold on to them. The screen goes black. Stephen is sobbing. Full body sobs that shake him. I hold him while he cries. For the father he lost, for the words he needed to hear, for the forgiveness that came too late and right on time. His whisper against my shoulder. He said he was proud of me. He actually said it. He meant it. We sit there in Timothy's living room until dawn. Not talking, just being. Two people who'd lost family. Finding something like it in each other. When we drive back to the farm. As the sun rises, Stephen's voice quiet. I meant what I said yesterday. About staying. About helping you make this work. A pause. Then he adds, there's something else. My dad said to hold on to people who do the right thing. When nobody's watching. So I'm holding on. If you'll let me, I look at him. Really look at him. At the determination in his jaw. At the vulnerability in his eyes. At the man trying so hard. Not to be his father's mistakes. My answer's simple. I'll let you. He smiles. First real smile I've seen from him. Good. Because I'm not going anywhere. The next 2 weeks are a blur of activity. David stays his promised 2 weeks. By the time he leaves, the barn is sound again. The porch rebuilt. The well pumping clear water. He's lost 15 pounds. Gained a tan. Looks happier than his siblings say. They've seen him in years. His promise as he leaves. I might come back in the spring. If you need help with planting, my response immediate. I'll need help, Jessica and her husband Bennett. Come back the following weekend. As promised. They spend 2 full days rewiring the house. When they're done, we have electricity. For the first time in 13 years, I flip the switch, and lights come on. Actual lights. I stand in the kitchen crying, while Jessica hugs me. Patricia has to return to Chicago after the first weekend, but she'd spent those days creating a business plan, spreadsheets, projections, a roadmap for making this farm financially viable. Her offer before she leaves, I'm investing $15,000. Call it a business loan, 3% interest. Pay me back over 5 years, starting year 3. That gives you breathing room. But you have to be smart. Track every penny. No waste. I start to protest. Patricia. I can't. Her response firm. You can, and you will. Because my father would have wanted this place to succeed, and because you've given my family something worth more than money. But it's Stephen who stays. He moves into the house permanently. Claims the smallest bedroom. The only other room besides mine. That Bennett managed to wire. He buys a used truck from a farmer 3 towns over. Starts talking to Timothy Clark about crop rotation, soil management, all the things he learned growing up on this land. Before he tried to forget them, we work from sunrise to sunset, clearing fields, fixing equipment, learning alongside each other, because neither of us really knows what we're doing. But both of us are too stubborn to quit. We develop a rhythm, a partnership. He's better with machinery, I'm better with planning. He knows the land. I know how to problem solve. When things go wrong, which is constantly. One evening in late December, Timothy Clark stops by. He's carrying something. 3 wooden boxes, his smile knowing. Thought you might want to learn beekeeping. Got 3 hives here, strong colonies. They'll produce honey by summer. If you take care of them, I stare at the boxes. I don't know anything about bees. Timothy's laugh is gentle. Neither did I when I started, 40 years ago. But bees are patient teachers, and they know about hard work. Thought you two could use the company. He spends the afternoons showing us how to set up the hives, how to check on them, how to harvest honey when the time comes. His words as he leaves. Bees work together, build something sweet from nothing. Kind of like what you're doing here. The 3 hives sit at the edge of the south field. White boxes against the brown winter grass. Stephen and I check on them every day, learning their rhythms, watching them fly in and out. Even in the cold, Timothy's right. They are patient teachers, and there's something soothing about watching them work, building, creating, surviving together. One afternoon in early January, a black sedan pulls up the driveway, expensive. Out of place, a man in a suit gets out, mid-40s, slicked back hair, predatory smile. Stephen and I walk out to meet him, the man's voice smooth. Good afternoon, my name is Marcus Ashford. I represent a development company, Cascade Properties. We're acquiring land in this area for a residential project, and I'm here to make you an offer. I cross my arms. We're not interested in selling. His smile doesn't waver. You haven't heard my offer yet. We're prepared to pay $75,000 for this property. That's well above market value for 47 acres. In this condition, $75,000, the number echoes. That's life-changing money. That's enough to start over, somewhere easier. But I think about Robert Williams, about how he refused to sell, even when he was desperate, about how this land meant something to him. Beyond money, Stephen steps closer to me, his presence solid. We're not interested. Ashford's smile finally slips. I don't think you understand. This area is being developed. Whether you participate or not, it would be easier for everyone. If you just took the money, Stephen's voice cuts. Easier for you? Maybe. But we're not interested in easy. Ashford looks at both of us, his professional veneer cracking. You should think carefully. Cascade has significant resources. It would be unfortunate. If things became difficult, I step forward. Is that a threat? His response careful. It's reality. You have 48 hours to reconsider. He walks back to his car, drives away, leaving dust and menace. Stephen and I stand in silence. Finally, he speaks. That wasn't good. I nod. No, it wasn't, but we don't talk about it again. Don't second guess our decision, because some things matter more than money. This land, this chance, this fresh start. It's not for sale that evening. All 4 siblings happened to be visiting. David had driven up for the weekend. Patricia flew in. Jessica and Bennett came from Seattle. We tell them about Ashford's visit. Patricia's response immediate. We'll deal with it. If they come back, if they cause trouble. We document everything, and we fight back. David adds, I know some lawyers in San Diego. Good ones. If you need legal help, Jessica nods, and I can write about it, if it comes to that. Expose what they're doing. Stephen looks at his siblings, then at me. We're not backing down. A statement, not a question. I shake my head. No, we're not. Because this land isn't just property anymore. It's where Robert Williams poured his heart. It's where his children are rebuilding their family. It's where Stephen found purpose again. It's where I learned that doing the right thing, even when it costs everything, matters more than survival. And I'm not giving that up. Not for $75,000. Not for anything. That night we cooked dinner together, all 6 of us. In the newly wired kitchen, Patricia makes her father's favorite dish, pot roast. From a recipe she remembers, David sets the table, using mismatched plates. We've collected from the barn. Jessica tells stories about growing up here, about her father teaching her to identify birds by their songs. Stephen is quieter, but he smiles more than I've ever seen, and I realize, as I watch them, this is what Robert wanted, not just for his children to have the money or read the letters, but for them to be together, to be family again, to remember that love. Even imperfect love, even love that struggles to speak, is still worth holding on to. After dinner, Stephen and I walk out to check the beehives. The winter sun is setting, casting everything in gold. The bees are settling for the night. Their hum quieter. Stephen's voice breaks the silence. Thank you. I look at him. For what? His answer simple. For giving me my father back. For showing me that it's not too late to be the person he hoped I'd become. I don't know what to say to that, so I just reach over, take his hand. We stand there as the sun sets, watching the bees, watching the farm, watching something new, being built from something broken. And I think about Dorothy's voice, the one I hear in my head. Every day do the right thing. Linda girl. Even when nobody's watching, because someone's always watching. Even if it's just you. I did the right thing and it brought me here. To this land, to this family, to this moment where broken things are slowly becoming whole again, where words unsaid finally find their voice, where second chances aren't just possible, they're real. Spring comes to Cedarbrook like a promise kept. March arrives with rain that turns the fields from brown to green overnight. The soil, which had seemed dead, wakes up. Stephen and I stand at the edge of the south field, surveying 10 acres we've managed to clear. 10 acres. Out of 47, it doesn't sound like much, but it's everything. Timothy walks the boundary with us, points to different sections, his voice measured. Tomatoes here. They'll love this slope. Squash over there. Beans along this row. Lettuce in that corner. It's still early enough. I pull out Patricia's spreadsheet, the one she left, with crop rotations and profit margins. My finger traces the numbers. If we can harvest even half of what she's projecting, we'll make $4,000 this summer. Stephen's response quiet. That's if nothing goes wrong. Timothy's laugh is knowing. Son, everything goes wrong in farming. That's the job. But you keep going anyway. We plant the first seeds on March 15th. Stephen runs the borrowed tiller, breaking up soil that hasn't been worked in 13 years. The machine keeps stalling, hitting rocks, old roots. But he doesn't quit. I follow behind, marking rows, dropping seeds, covering them. My back aches after the first hour. After the second, I can barely stand. But I don't stop, because this is it. This is the bet. Everything riding on whether these tiny seeds decide to grow. By the end of March, we've planted 8 of the 10 acres. Tomatoes, 2 acres. 600 plants. Squash, 1 acre. 400 hills. Beans, 2 acres. Pole beans climbing strings we've strung. Lettuce, 1 acre. 3 successions planted 2 weeks apart. Peppers, 2 acres. 800 plants. The numbers make my head spin. Stephen collapses on the porch that night, covered in dirt. Hands blistered, his voice exhausted. We just bet everything. On whether the rain comes, and the sun shines, and nothing eats what we planted. I sit next to him. Equally filthy. Yeah, a pause, then his quiet laugh. My dad would have loved this. April brings the first sprouts, tiny green shoots. Breaking through the soil, I check them every morning. Like a parent checking on sleeping children. Stephen teases me about it, his smile warm. They're going to grow whether you stare at them or not, but he's out there every morning too. Checking, watering, pulling weeds. We develop a routine: sunrise, coffee, work until noon, break for lunch. Dorothy's recipes. I'm on week 15 now. Her tuna casserole, back to work until sunset. Dinner, usually something simple. Eggs, toast, vegetables from Timothy's farm. Then we sit on the porch. Talk, or don't talk. Just exist. One evening in late April. After a particularly long day, I realize I've been looking for Stephen. All day, not because I needed help, but because I wanted to see him. That scares me, because partnerships are one thing, feelings are another, and feelings complicate everything. I push the thought away, but it keeps coming back. May arrives with heat. The plants explode. Tomatoes climb their cages. Squash vines spread. Beans reach for the sky. And Stephen and I work side by side. Every day, small moments accumulate. He brings me coffee in the morning, without me asking. I notice he takes it black. No sugar. He fixes things before I realize they're broken. The barn door hinge, the loose porch board, the dripping faucet. I find myself cooking things I think he'll like. Week 20. Dorothy's pot roast. The one Patricia made. He eats 3 helpings. One afternoon in early June. We're harvesting the first lettuce. The early succession is ready. Crisp green heads. Stephen reaches for the same plant I do. Our hands touch. We both freeze. Neither of us pulls away. His eyes meet mine. And something shifts, something I've been trying to ignore. Comes rushing to the surface. But then Timothy's truck pulls up. The moment breaks. We both step back. Go back to harvesting. Pretend nothing happened, except something did. By mid-June, we have our first real harvest. Lettuce. 200 pounds. I have no idea what to do with 200 pounds of lettuce. Margaret at the diner solves the problem. Her smile wide when I bring her 10 pounds. I'll take 20 pounds a week. Through August. And I'll tell everyone. About your farm stand. Farm stand. I hadn't thought about a farm stand. But Margaret had. She helps me set up. At the end of the driveway. A table. A sign she makes. Hand-painted. William's Farm. Fresh vegetables. The first Saturday. I sell 40 pounds of lettuce. At $3 a pound. $120. I stare at the cash. Stephen finds me sitting on the porch. Holding the money. Crying. His concern immediate. What's wrong? I look up at him. Through tears. Nothing's wrong. Everything's right. We just made money. From something we grew. He sits next to me. Takes my hand. Neither of us says anything. Don't need to. July brings the tomatoes. And with them, the reality of farming, which is that everything ripens at once. And you either harvest it or lose it. We pick tomatoes from sunrise to sunset. Every day for 2 weeks. Red. Yellow. Heirloom varieties Timothy gave us. 5,000 pounds. We sell them at the farm stand. $4 a pound. But we can't sell them fast enough. Half of them start going soft. I'm standing in the field, surrounded by rotting tomatoes, feeling like a failure. When Margaret pulls up, her solution simple. Make sauce. I'll teach you. We'll can it. Sell it through winter. So we make sauce, Margaret. Stephen, me in the kitchen that now has electricity. Boiling tomatoes, adding basil from the garden, garlic. Salt, canning it in jars Margaret brought. We make 200 jars, and we sell them all by September. At $8 a jar, $1,600. From tomatoes we almost lost. One evening in late July, Margaret mentions something, her voice casual. We have quilting circle. Every Thursday, at the diner. You should come. I hesitate. Don't know these women. Don't know how to quilt. But Margaret's eyes are kind. It's not about the quilting, Linda. It's about the company. I go the next Thursday. 6 women sit around tables pushed together. Fabric spread everywhere. Needles flashing. They range in age from 50 to 70. All of them farmers' wives, or former farmers' wives. Margaret introduces me. This is Linda Brown. She bought the old Williams place. She's the one who found Robert's letters. Gave them to his kids. The women's faces soften. One of them, a woman named Dorothy. Not my Dorothy, but still, her voice warm. Robert was a good man, quiet, but good. We're glad. Someone's bringing that land back. They don't ask about my past. Don't pry. Just hand me fabric. Show me how to thread a needle. Teach me basic stitches. We talk while we sew. About crops, weather, recipes, grandchildren. About loss because every woman there has lost someone. Husbands, parents, children. But they keep going, keep creating, keep building. One Thursday in August, Patricia visits again. Comes to Quilting Circle with me. She brings something. A box of her father's old work shirts. Flannel. Worn soft. Her voice breaks when she explains, I couldn't throw them away. After we cleaned out the house, I kept them. Thought maybe. Someday. I don't know. Margaret takes the box. Examines the shirts. We'll make something beautiful from these, and they do. Over the next 6 weeks, the women cut the shirts, piece them together, create a quilt. Porals emerge. Robert's blue flannel, his red plaid, the green shirt he wore. In the photo on the mantel, Patricia comes every Thursday, learns to sew, talks about her father, cries, laughs, heals. The quilt becomes more than fabric. It becomes a memorial, a way of holding on to someone while letting go. That same week, Timothy teaches us to harvest honey. He brings his equipment, smoker, hive tool, extractor, shows us how to calm the bees, how to remove the frames, how to extract without destroying the comb. The 3 hives produce 40 pounds, golden, thick, sweet. Timothy holds up a jar, lets the sun shine through. This is your work, and theirs. Building something sweet. From nothing. I think about that phrase, building something sweet. From nothing. That's what we're all doing here. Stephen and I, Patricia and her siblings, the women in the quilting circle, taking broken things and making them whole. We sell the honey at the farm stand. $12 a jar. It sells out in a week. One Saturday in August, Patricia visits without calling first. She sits on the porch, watches Stephen and me work in the field, watches how we move around each other, anticipating, adjusting, later. She pulls me aside, her observation gentle. He loves you. You know, I start to protest. We're partners. That's all, Patricia's smile knowing. My father spent 18 years writing letters he never sent. Don't make his mistake. Her words hit harder than they should, because she's right. I've been feeling it for months. This pull towards Stephen, this sense that he's become more than a business partner, more than a friend. But I've been too scared to name it, too scared to risk what we've built. That evening, Stephen and I check the beehives. Like we do every day, the summer sun is setting. Bees returning home. Their hum quieter. Stephen's voice breaks the silence. Linda, I need to tell you something. My heart starts racing. He continues, not looking at me. I've been thinking about what my dad wrote in those letters, about not waiting, about saying the things that matter. While you still can, he turns to face me. His eyes serious. I love you. I'm in love with you. I think I have been. Since the day you handed my family that box and asked for nothing in return, since you showed me what integrity actually looks like, since you proved that good people still exist, I can't breathe, can't think. He keeps talking. I know this might complicate things. I know we have a good thing going, as partners. But I can't keep pretending. I don't feel this way. So I'm saying it. I love you. And if there's any chance, you might feel the same. I don't let him finish. Just step forward. Kiss him. His arms come around me. Pull me close, and everything else disappears when we finally break apart. Both breathing hard, his smile uncertain. Is that a yes? My laugh shaky. That's a yes, but he's not done. He steps back, reaches into his pocket, pulls out a small box. My heart stops. Stephen, right there, next to the beehive. Bees humming around us, his voice steady now. I should probably do this right. Linda Brown. These bees, they work together, build something sweet, from nothing. That's what I want with us. Will you marry me? He opens the box. Inside, a simple gold band. With a small stone. I'm crying now, can't help it. Yes, yes, absolutely yes. He stands, slides the ring onto my finger, kisses me again. And I think, this moment, this exact moment, is what Dorothy meant when she said, do the right thing, because doing the right thing brought me here to this farm, to this man, to this life where broken things find their way. to wholeness. We get married in December, not a big wedding. Don't want that, just family. And the people who've become family: Patricia, David, Jessica, their spouses, their children: Margaret, Timothy, the women from Quilting Circle, Melissa from the library, Kenneth Lee from the hardware store. 30 people total. We hold the ceremony in the South Field, the one Stephen and I cleared together. That first spring, it's late December. The leaves are gone, but the sky is that particular shade of winter blue. I wear a simple dress. Patricia helped me pick out from a shop in Seattle. Stephen wears a suit. David helped him choose. We stand under an arch made of branches and dried sunflowers. From the field, Margaret officiates. She got ordained online just for this. Takes the responsibility seriously. Her voice clear. Do you, Stephen Williams, take Linda to be your lawfully wedded wife? Stephen's answer immediate. I do. His eyes wet. Margaret turns to me. And do you, Linda Brown, take Stephen to be your lawfully wedded husband? My voice steady. I do. Margaret smiles. Then, by the power vested in me by the internet and the state of Washington, I now pronounce you married. Kiss already. We do, and everyone cheers. The reception is on the porch, and in the yard all's covered with food. Everyone brought something. Margaret's pot roast, Timothy's smoked salmon, Patricia's apple pie, Jessica's lasagna, the quilt the women made. From Robert's shirts, hangs as a backdrop. Stephen gives the toast, his voice carrying, who taught me, even after death, that words matter. And to Linda, who showed me what integrity looks like. He pauses, looks at me, who taught me that it's never too late to become the person you're supposed to be. I cry through the whole thing, happy tears. For once, we dance to music playing from Timothy's old radio. On the porch, Stephen holds me close, whispers in my ear, thank you. I pull back to look at him. For what? His answer simple. For everything. For finding us. For giving me my father back. For showing me what home feels like. I rest my head on his shoulder. You did the same for me, because he did. This farm, this family, this man. They gave me something I thought I'd lost forever, a place to belong. Spring of 2025, our second year farming. We expand to 25 acres. David comes back, as promised, helps us plant. We add corn, cucumbers, more tomatoes, play for a USDA grant. For beginning farmers, $8,000. Approved, start a CSA program. Community-supported agriculture. 30 families prepay. For a share of the harvest, $150 per family, $4,500. Before we even plant, Patricia's business plan is working. By summer, the farm stand is thriving. Imperfect vegetables sell out every Saturday because people don't just buy food. They buy the story. They buy the fact that an ex-con and a corporate dropout are making something work against the odds. By fall, our revenue is $28,000, enough to pay Patricia back her first installment with interest, enough to save for winter, enough to breathe. The house is fully restored now. New roof, new windows, new plumbing. Stephen and I did most of the work ourselves, with help from David and Bennett. It's not fancy, but it's warm and dry and ours. One October afternoon, Stephen and I finally finished restoring the John Deere, the tractor, where this all began. We've spent 6 months, on and off, rebuilding the engine, replacing tires, fresh paint, that classic green when Stephen turns the key and it starts. First try, I burst into tears. He looks at me, concerned. What's wrong? I shake my head, smiling through tears. Nothing. Everything. This is where I found the box, where everything changed, and now it runs again. It feels like, I don't know. Full circle. Stephen climbs down, pulls me into a hug. It is full circle. You brought something back to life. The tractor, the farm, my family, me. We stand there, holding each other, next to the running tractor, and I realize, this is what happiness feels like, not the absence of struggle, but the presence of purpose. One Sunday in December, Stephen and I drive to the cemetery, Cedarbrook Memorial. 2 miles outside town, we find Robert's grave. Next to his wife, Dorothy's Sybil headstones, Robert Williams. Beloved father, Dorothy Williams. Beloved mother and wife. I set wildflowers on both, from the farm. Dried now, but still beautiful. Stephen stands quiet, looking at his father's name. Finally he speaks. Hey Dad, it's been a year since Linda found your letters, since everything changed. I wish you could have met her. She's stubborn, like you, works harder than anyone I've ever known, and she sees this land the way you did, like it's something sacred. His voice catches. We got married in the South Field. Margaret officiated. Patricia and David and Jessica were all there. First time. We've all been together, and actually happy. And I don't know how long," he pauses. "We're making the farm work. 25 acres now. Next year maybe 30. We're building something that would make you proud." I pull out the journal. The one I found. In the tractor, open it to the last page. The blank one. After Robert's final entry, I've been carrying a pen. I write, "Dear Robert, my name is Linda Brown Williams. I bought your farm with $100 and a prayer. I found the money you left. I found your journal. I found your letters, and I returned them all to your children. You should know. They've forgiven you for the things you did and didn't say. They read every word you wrote, and they watched your video. And they know you loved them. Your son Stephen is my husband now. We're running the farm together. 25 acres in production. More planned. The John Deere you hid the money in is restored and running. We use it every day. Your legacy isn't gone, it's just taken a different shape. With gratitude. Linda." I close the journal. We keep it on the mantle, so our children can read it someday, so they'll know where they came from. April 2026, 16 months after the wedding. Stephen and I stand in the field, surveying 35 acres. We've just planted. The largest planting yet. Everything is growing well. Tomatoes climbing cages, squash spreading, beans reaching. The bees are thriving. 6 hives now. Timothy helped us split them. The farm stand has a waiting list. For honey, the CSA has 45 families. We're not rich, but we're stable. We're building something that lasts. I've been feeling strange for a few weeks, tired, nauseous in the mornings, but I chalked it up to working too hard. Then I missed my period and another one this morning. I took a test in the bathroom, hands shaking, watched the line appear posy. I'm pregnant. I've been carrying the secret all day, trying to find the right moment. We're standing in the field. As the sun sets, Stephen's hand in mine, his voice content. "This is good, isn't it? What we've built?" I turn to face him. "Stephen, I have something to tell you." He looks at me, concern flickering. "What's wrong?" I shake my head, smiling now. "Nothing's wrong. Everything's perfect, actually. I'm pregnant." He freezes, processing, then his face transforms. Pure joy. He picks me up, spins me around. "Right there in the field, we're having a baby. We're having a baby." He sets me down gently, reverently, puts his hand on my stomach. Still flat, but not for long. His whisper awed, "A baby?" Then he looks toward the cemetery. 2 miles away, his voice carrying, "Hey Dad, you're going to be a grandfather again. And this time, we'll tell them about you. Every day, we'll make sure they know. The man you really were." I lean into him. Think about Dorothy, about Robert, about all the people who brought us here, about second chances, and words unsaid, and doing the right thing. When nobody's watching, my thought quiet. Home isn't where you're born, it's where you choose to plant roots and refuse to let go. Stephen kisses the top of my head. "We planted roots, didn't we?" I nod against his chest. "Yeah, we did." We walk back to the house, hand in hand, the sun setting behind us, casting long shadows inside. Lights are on. Patricia and her family, visiting for the weekend. We can see them through the windows, laughing, moving around the kitchen. Being family, the quilt from Robert's shirts hangs on the wall, visible through the glass behind us. The farm stretches into the gathering dark. 47 acres that had been forgotten and found again. Land that broke one man's heart and healed 2 others. Land that taught me the most important lesson: that character is what you do when nobody's watching. And right now, somebody's always watching, even if it's just you. I started with $72 and a dream that seemed impossible, and I ended with everything that matters. The gates of Riverside feel like another lifetime now, another person's story. This is my story, mine and Stephen's, mine and the Williams families, mine and this land's. A story about letters never sent until they were, about money that could have saved me, but returning it actually did, about a farm bought for nothing that became everything, about words that matter, even when they're hard to say, especially then. We step onto the porch. Stephen holds the door open. Patricia calls from inside. "Linda, Stephen, dinner's ready." I touch my stomach, where our child is just beginning, whisper too quietly for anyone to hear. "Welcome home, little one. You're going to love it here." And as the door closes behind us, I hear Dorothy's voice one last time, not in my head, deeper in my heart. "I'm proud of you, Linda girl. So proud. I know, Grandma. I'm finally proud of me too." Outside, the farm settles into night. 47 acres that saved my life by letting me save it first, and somewhere Dorothy and Robert are smiling at what we built from ruins and stubbornness and love.